peace, y'all. So for you, I'm not exactly showing how your gardening season went this year, but I hope it went well. Me, y'all, I am by far getting over, or it looks like just now, just now maybe as of yesterday, because it's kind of hot right now. Just now getting out of probably my worst gardening season ever, at least in terms of a summer. So it is really motivating me to go ahead and take action, basically go forth with an idea that I have been saying I wanted to do now for some time, which is turn this whole entire garden pretty much over into just a whole wicking bed operation. So the whole market garden will now just be operated through out of wicking beds. Not the whole garden, but a lot of it. Bottom line, y'all, after just sitting back and thinking about it, man, there's days now, y'all, where I can't even get out here just because of the heat. There's a couple other things I'm going to be doing to the garden to make it way more comfortable than it is now. Is of course the wicking beds is part of the whole plot. But yeah, the wicking beds is part of the whole plan. However, there's just a lot that has to happen in an in-ground garden grow. I honestly come from raised garden beds. That's where I am most comfortable. Excuse the neighborhood, kind of urban farming, y'all. I come from the land of raised garden beds, so me actually taking these years for the most part to grow in ground has been kind of cool. I learned a lot, but the one thing I did learn a lot is that I do not like to weed, and there's a lot of weeding that actually has to take place here in order for your plot to keep on going. So by me putting in more wicking beds, that's gonna right there eradicate a huge to-do on this plot, and thus freeing up a lot more time for me now to be focused on mainly planting and harvesting. Those are the two things that I want to do. Just do it. I mean, look at this, y'all. We still got tomatoes looking luscious out here, dude. In fact, a lot of these tomatoes are now just fruiting. I don't know how it really actually happened, to be honest with you. I planted these guys out in, I gotta look back. I think these got planted out in February or March, maybe both. And literally, y'all, I'm just now seeing a healthy dose of tomatoes pop up. This is crazy. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it took so long. But tomatoes are coming and we're looking good. So we'll get what we can out of these things. Anyhow, the way we're gonna plan this out, y'all, is for the first round, this whole row is gonna become wicking beds. Today, y'all, I'm only gonna do 2. I have some other commitments that just popped up. I mean, look at all these weeds, y'all. Dude, believe it or not, this is 2 weeks of growth. That's all this is. And it looks like I've done nothing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why, especially if it's gonna be getting this hot for this long. Dude, we are still in, literally just yesterday. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just yesterday. I gotta look. We actually hit 100 degrees out here in Fontana. I ain't trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot, dude. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of, I mean, right now we're in October, the beginning of October, and I am, you know, still getting in the hundreds. It seems like every year it's getting worse and worse. So I'm like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna go ahead and put these wicking beds in to make my life a lot easier, so I don't have to deal with terrible things like that. All them weeds, y'all. All that's gonna be gone. A lot of the things gonna be gone. Probably a lot of this tape's gonna be gone, because we got wicking beds. Hell yeah. All right, we're gonna put these in, and let me go ahead and start. And there goes one. Yeah, I'm just waiting for this arugula. I might harvest it one more time. So after that, it's next harvest, we'll start putting in beds over there too. I got a bunch of lettuce here to go to the ground. So I decided just to go ahead and begin to build these guys out. So we'll have a bit of a walkway here, and we'll have another bed growing here, but we won't put these beds in until these tomatoes go down. All right, let's go ahead and level this thing off with something. All right, cool, y'all. So we got it pretty much leveled off. Found some old 2x4s. I got a bunch of them laying around here. The beds on this plot right now, y'all, are 30 inches by 30 foot. And the average IBC tote, that ones that I normally have, are right about 3 foot by 3.5 foot. So they're right about 6 inches longer. Basically what I'm doing now is kind of just going over into what was just considered my walkway. So really, I'm not really losing that much space, but I gain a lot more. Now each one of my walkways will just kind of move over. I will slightly widen up that walkway, right about 1.5 foot of a walkway. Before, my walkway was just 6 inches. I'm gonna go ahead, put the other bed up here. 2 beds butt up against each other, and then we're gonna have another space right about the same as the walkway, maybe like 2 foot even right here per space. The goal for that is to make sure that we have enough room basically to run a wheelbarrow down these things, so I can get soil or whatever it is I need to get to the bed when I need to get it to the bed. You know what I'm saying? Is to do my best to get them somewhat level. They never have to be spot on. I'm kind of under a bit of a time crunch. So if you guys are interested in building out your own wicking beds, and you don't get all the answers from this video, go ahead and go back to my other videos. I'll have it linked down somewhere in the details or whatever. So for the most part, I have all the pieces ready and together. However, I still have to do some cutting of some of the pieces. I have the inlets ready, but I still need to drill the holes, and I also need to cut a hole in this one for the wick. This other portion right here will be all filled in with sand, and that's just going to be a lot more for wicking. The false bottoms, again, you know, these are nothing more than just voids. Water gets put directly into them to now seep out into the sandy area here. That's pretty much it. This right here is a wick that will be filled up with sand. That's now going to transfer moisture or the water directly from the bottom here. I have direct access to the compost that's going to be on top of these beds here, and so what that's going to do is now just actually add to the capillary effect. And just for the middle, I wish I cut it more so central. However, this I have it the same way in those beds over there, and as you can see, they're doing quite fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. All right, y'all, so we got both of the stem pipes in, both of the wicks in. Now it's time to go ahead and fill up these wicks. This will do just as good as anything else. The only thing I'm trying to do, fill it up to where a lot of sand doesn't get into the void. And we'll get some of this one. Go ahead and put in so now we have the landscape fabric in to keep our void with as less sand as possible. Cut the hole for the standpipe. Boom. Second standpipe ready. Yes, y'all. So here we are. Got them both up. As you can see, man, we had them watering in. I use, for the most part, what I like to call our second use water. And that's nothing more than the water that we collect throughout the course of the week for like microgreen washing, washing the totes or the trays, just stuff like that. So we reuse it in the wicking beds. Stay tuned, y'all. Pretty soon, man, because I'm doing some remodeling in the house, and so I'm gonna be building out some gray water systems to help feed all this stuff out here as well, to really just help maximize the amount of times we can utilize the water here on the plot. Well, anyway, these wicking beds are a very key component. I'm just telling y'all, man, these wicking beds seem to just keep giving and giving and giving. I'm really into them. But as you can see, y'all, we right now have a bunch of our red leaf lettuce planted all out here. All this stuff will be going to market. We'll be eating some too, of course. Where we ended up was I was putting on the landscape fabric to the false bottoms. From there, y'all, you just fill it up with sand. For this bed, ended up putting 8 bags of sand in here. At Home Depot right now, you can get sand for right about $5. I think it's like $4.90 something. This one, I decided to go with 10 bags to see if I can't hold on to the moisture a little bit longer. These beds over here, y'all, these ones are doing great. But they both, actually, they probably should get water here pretty soon. They both actually hold on to water pretty damn well. These ones were both with me through the course of the summer when it was really, really hot. I'm talking like 110, 116, 100 stupid for a consecutive amount of days. And I did notice, I mean, there were some days, y'all, where these things just, they could not hang. I think the fastest they ever turned was right about a week. These are brand new beds, y'all. I'm using 100% compost, actually microgreen compost. I don't know why I point. That's where I normally store it. I'm using 100% microgreen compost, y'all, which isn't very binding. You know what I mean? It's just extremely porous, just because of the material that it's made of. So that's why it's really important to drop things into your soil, like right away, so that you can start getting a lot of the binding from the roots. The idea also is for every single one of the wicking beds, it's going to be interplanted. Everything over there is interplanted with ginger. We have over there, those beds are that one's interplanted with the white one right there is interplanted with ginger, and then the full one actually has ginger as well. That's ginger and a bunch of other stuff. That was just kind of like my first little test bed. And I was just kind of seeing what I can grow in there. I've got pumpkins, I got beans in there, like long beans in there. I grew pretty nice cucumbers in there. So a lot of stuff have grown in that bed. It's been able to support a lot. So I know these lettuces are going to do very well. Anyway, the idea for the plot, however, is to interplant things like garlic, turmeric, as well as ginger in each one of the beds, along with the lettuce, until each one of those get to a certain size, and then yada yada yada. We'll make another video about that. And a lot of people will end up using like a hay or some other type of a mulch to make a barrier between the sand and the compost. What I've been doing for the last couple beds, y'all, is just simply using a cardboard. But in doing so, make sure that you actually saturate a little bit more, because what ends up happening is that cardboard needs time to actually get moist. You know what I'm saying? To make the bed actually, be able to wick. So you want to make sure that's actually happening. Another thing, I want to mention is the drainage, man. So I actually see how high this pipe is right here. That's the height that this water is actually going to be allowed to wick. As you can see, I went up pretty high. The idea is I will eventually break this back down. I went back down to about here to where the sand actually meets the compost. I just went up this high right now to actually help saturate that cardboard and to help moisture start getting through there really well. That's kind of the only reason it's like that. This isn't glued in or anything, so I can easily just detach that. I don't know that I'm going to need it this high. I will need it high because of the fact that I put it on this side, which is my sloping side. So basically the way my plot runs is it kind of just slopes down from here. And so ultimately I should have, and from here on out, the next couple beds, we'll actually put the drainage on this side. So now that the water will rise up even more evenly and stay in the bed a lot longer than what it is on that side. That's another reason, kind of what I was getting at before, as to why I needed to add this extra, or add a little bit of a stem. This stem will probably come up to about here when we're all said and done. But yeah, but for right now, until that cardboard, like I said before, breaks down or starts to get more saturated, we're going to keep it about there. For your first couple goes as well, when it comes to wicking beds, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, you want to overhead water too. It might be something that you want to do. We have overhead water sprinklers here on the plot that work really well with this. I mean, they just hit this thing perfect. So I don't really have to worry about watering it at all. The overheads come on, and it's been able to saturate the top level. We'll keep circling back, let you guys know what's popping with these things, man, but I'm really happy to have them up. And I figure, like I said, man, the next couple months, we'll have this whole entire plot covered in wicking beds, making my life a lot easier. We can get into more and more why. Yeah, it's just for ease as well as I'm pretty sure I'll be able to double my yield now. You know what I'm saying? Or at least guarantee more of a yield now. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Talk to you soon.